Good morning, everybody. I hope that you have finished your civil disobedience packet and that you've created your 5 questions. The reason I did keep that assignment, despite the fact that the College Board test is not going to have a multiple choice section, is that what it is testing is rhetorical analysis. And all of those questions were rhetorical analysis questions. So while you didn't have any essay writing component to that, you're still using that rhetorical analysis thinking, you're asking those important questions, which would then become the crux of your essay should you be asked to write one. So let's take a look at passage number 3. Unjust laws exist. Shall we be content to obey them, or shall we endeavor to amend them and obey until we have succeeded, or shall we transgress them? So he's offering all of these choices that we have in how to handle what we know to be unjust laws. And I'm hoping when we talk about that concept of unjust, we're thinking about all of our discussions on the values from Lincoln-Douglas debate, especially the deontological value, because that's largely what, and the categorical imperative, which is largely what Henry David Thoreau is going to abide by, having been inspired by Immanuel Kant. So it's not about what the repercussions are, it's about the act itself, and is it just or is it unjust? So we think about the act of the Mexican War and then the fugitive slave laws, which are other issues that Thoreau speaks regularly about, and it happens to be the crux of our next unit. So let's talk about unjust laws and what he chooses to do. When we talk about transgressing them, I'm really hoping that you're making connections back to Emerson's piece. If you remember the top of, I believe it's the top of page 4, I don't have the paper in front of me, when he talks about the antinomianism, and that ultimately we all have the obligation, not just to ignore unjust laws or to neglect unjust laws, but actually to act out against them, to transgress them. That's the approach that Emerson condoned. Men generally under such a government as this think they ought to wait until they have persuaded the majority to alter them. They think that if they should resist, the remedy would be worse than the evil. But is it the fault of government itself that the remedy is worse than the evil? It makes it worse. Why is it not more apt to anticipate and provide for reform? Why does it not cherish its wide minority? Why does it cry and resist before it is hurt? Do you hear? In here, there's this sort of interrogation, very Cyrano-esque, that's this bombardment of rhetorical questions, ending with the climactic, why does it always crucify Christ and excommunicate Copernicus and Luther and pronounce Washington and Franklin rebels? This allusion is really important, not just as we are here approaching the Easter season, but really the notion that why does it always force Socrates to drink the hemlock, as opposed to simply thinking about what it is that these, as Emerson would have said, lonely individuals, these invaluable chronometers, which is the closure of the Transcendentalist, another piece that I'll be annotating for you. Why does it not allow those chronometers to redirect them back into a more moral path? And that, incidentally, is going to get us to the next passage in Thoreau's piece, which is passage 4, when he addresses the effects of wealth on people's moral compass. But let's stick with passage 3 for now. All right, I'm going to check this, make sure it's coming through, and then I'll keep going.